I don't even know how this works. I don't know how you hook up Zoom to you. I'm like a fucking dinosaur with all this shit. Do we have to be careful with our language?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thursday's episode of In Bed with Comics. Tonight, I have somebody very special with me tonight. She's a great comic, and she also did a lot of impersonations back in the day, so we're going to get into that. But once upon a time, Donna did stand-up in Gotham Comedy Club and at the comic strip. She opened for Pat Cooper, Donald O'Connor, go lay down. And then after returning to stand-up after a couple years, she's performed at Gateway Comedy, Doves in the Little Room, and of course, she was in my contest that I had last year. Yep. And she's also worked as an extra doing some acting in shows Blue Bloods, Blacklist, Law and Order, A Boardwalk Empire, and that was only in the last 4 years. So everybody, please welcome Donna Moran. Donna, how are you?
Hi, everybody. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's good to see you, and I love that you're in bed. Keeping with that In Bed with Comics spirit, and what a beautiful bed you have. You can see it now. I'm sure your friends will be able to see it now.
Okay, cool. Do I have to do something or no?
No, I think that you just, like, if you go to your homepage on Facebook, you would be able to you'd be able to see it. Or if you go on my page, it should have tagged you.
They'll just see it. They'll see it.
They'll see it. But if it's on, if you share it to your page, I'm gonna do that right now and see if I can.
You can share it to my page?
I think I did, yeah.
Okay, cool. Good.
That's one of the weirdest things about this. Well, no, you actually have to like share it to your page.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, go on my Facebook page, and then you'll see that we're live, and you can click on it and you can share it.
You're not going to disappear on me, are you?
I don't think so.
I'm like a fucking dinosaur. I don't know.
Do you have your cell phone with you?
I'm hearing you, and I'm doing the Facebook. Oh my God. I'm like my mother.
That's how you know.
Yeah. Okay. Kristen Tinsley. Okay, so it doesn't have a share button. It just has.
It should.
It has a comment, but no share. That sucks.
I'm sending it to you right now. I sent it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know why it doesn't have a share button. That's so weird.
I don't know. In Bed with Comics.
Share to a page.
It just has. Oh, here we go. It has a comment, but no share. I got it.
You got it? I'm sending it to you right now. I sent it to you.
Got it.
Yeah, well, I don't know why it doesn't have a share button. That's so weird.
I found it.
Yeah. And then you just lower it whenever or shut the sound off. This way you don't hear me talking twice. Share to a page.
Just has. Okay. Oh, here we go. There's a comment. Now I'm sharing.
Click on the video. Click on the video, and you'll see like a small speaker, and then just X. See the speaker on there? And then you just lower it whenever or shut the sound off. This way you don't hear me talking twice. Is it on your phone?
No. All right.
Did you click on the video?
I got rid of it. I'm back.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go. All right, cool. We got it. Listen, I learn new things about technology every single day. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Hi, Abby. Hi, Lindsay. How are you girls doing? This is Donna Moran. She's my guest today on In Bed with Comics. So, Donna, how are you withdrawing from the comedy scene? How has it been for you out there? What have you been up to?
It's been really, really rough. It's like withdrawal syndromes, you know?
Yeah, I know.
God for Zoom. I've done a few Zoom. I did your Zoom show.
Yes.
I did a couple of other Zoom shows, but it's just not the same.
It's not the same. I know. I miss it. And I think I'm starting to miss it just because I know that there's live shows that are being booked right now, which I actually have one next Saturday over at Coasters.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, the Tuesday after that is when they're going to have the open mic there. I don't know if you knew that. The 21st.
I did
the 21st.
I did an open mic at One Eyed Jack's last Monday night. and it was supposed to be outside. It wound up being inside, and everybody got very relaxed about the mask wearing. I'm a little paranoid, a little bit.
I've been doing a couple. I've been trying to, like, keep it, because I have to take care of my mom, and she's old, she's elderly, so I don't want to. Yeah, you too. So I don't really want to, risk going out right now, but eventually I will. At least I know with coasters I can go. I could sit in my car. I could wait. I mean, that's what I would do. I would just, just sit in your car or hang out in the parking lot and wait if you're gonna do that.
But coasters is big, so it's got coasters is a large room. It's a little better there than One-Eyed Jack's.
Well, they have an outside deck now also. They have an outside seating area. Wait till you see it. You're going to be like, oh my God, wait till you see all the changes that Coasters made. We have our own little area. Remember that big booth that was in the corner? Like, as soon as you walk through the door and look to the left, that's gone.
Cool.
That's our area to perform comedy. If anyone's doing DJ, anything like that, that's like the little entertainment corner. Right. And then they changed all the lighting, they changed the floor, they changed a lot of stuff. So it looks.
I love Coasters. I've had most fun at open mics at Coasters.
We definitely had a blast. I mean, there's a lot of good memories there. That used to be one of the biggest open mics where people would come. So I'm hoping to see everybody back again. I'll be making my way around to do some jokes, but I'm actually taking a lot of online, comedy writing classes and getting some good feedback. So
I am too. I've been working on with a bunch of comics on almostcomedy.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's Rob's class, right?
Rob Chiaffi.
Yeah. I took that class once, but then I kind of fell off because it was always at like a obscure time. So I was like,
oh, you should come back. I'd love to have you on.
I'll come back. I do need to come back. I don't want Rob to think that I didn't like it, but I take a class Tuesday nights with Kevin Bartini, and he's really cool. He's awesome. And, he gives a lot of good feedback and really makes me, think like these jokes. So that's one question I had for you was, how do you keep up with the comedy game, the comedy grinds? Like, what motivates you to write jokes, and how do you come up with a lot of your material?
Well, it's basically by living through the COVID, and dealing with everything that's happening here.
Yeah.
So this comedy workshop that I've been going to, we break into different rooms. We have breakout rooms in Zoom, and we work with 5 or 6 comics. Some are new, some have been comics for years.
Yeah.
It's a mixed bag. It can get a little frustrating, but I've gotten some good material out of it.
Good, because I feel like you need to keep yourself fresh. A lot of people that I had talked to had asked to do like, the online classes or even just to do a Zoom show. And they were like, oh, I'm not ready. I really haven't been practicing. But you've been in comedy for how many years?
Okay. Well, you want to hear the whole story?
Yeah, I do want to hear the whole story. That's what In Bed with Comics is like. Tell me a bedtime story, girl.
All right, good. Well, I used to do, my first experience as an impersonator was at Folk City on West 4th Street in Greenwich Village. They had a Perform as Your Favorite Performer contest.
Wow.
So I did Cyndi Lauper reading the death scene of Romeo and Juliet. And it was like, Romeo, Romeo, where are you? You know what I'm saying? So I read the whole scene. And there was an agent in the audience and said, we do bar mitzvahs, corporate gigs, private parties.
Right.
I got hired and I started doing that. And then it was easy to just roll into doing Madonna and Marilyn Monroe. And I traveled everywhere. But here's how I started stand-up. I was in Aruba doing Madonna and Cyndi Lauper. And we had an intermission. We had like 12 performers in the show. It was a small, low budget cabaret show kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
At a casino. And they came to me and they said, Donna, go talk to the audience for 10 minutes. We need to have an intermission. And I was like, what the hell am I going to say to people? I can't do that. And they said, just go out. So I went out as Cyndi Lauper and I just started telling jokes that I'd heard in the past.
Yeah.
I started talking to people and incorporating life of Aruba and all that. And I came back to New York. I fell in love with stand-up. It was the best part of the whole musical that we did. I loved doing that intermission. It took me a year when I came home to get back on stage. Then I took a class. Now we're talking. Here's my age. I'm going to show you my age. 1989 was my first time on stage at the Eagle Tavern on West 14th Street in Manhattan.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah. And you know what? It's like doing drugs, you get hooked immediately.
Yeah.
I got hooked immediately. And if, there was no looking back for 8 years. And then I had
when you did the impersonations, how did you come about doing that? Did you practice? Was it just
I watched them. Yeah, I would watch them and pick up their mannerisms,
right,
and their looks and how they carried themselves. But that wasn't in my stand-up for a long time. And then I started doing song parodies. And I did song parodies. It actually helped me build my act, because I wound up having 45 minutes in very quick succession. Like in 2 years, I was doing 45 minutes. And then people love impressions. So
I remember when I had put you on the contest and you had said, it's not fair because I've been doing comedy, and I completely and totally misunderstood what you said. And now I understand what you meant, that I've been doing it before for so much longer, because when you meet another comic, sometimes you don't have the time to sit down and talk to them and find out where they've been. And that was the purpose of me creating the show, because you never know who you're talking to.
Right.
And you never know where this person started. I had no idea.
Fair enough.
Of course, me, I'm a little crazy. I'm sitting there reading this. I was like, what the hell? But you would not have, you would not, I think, what did you, I think you came in second. You came in second. Yeah, you
Angela.
did. Angela, yeah, you really, but everybody came up to me afterwards and they were like, where, Donna, like she's amazing and she's great, and I mean, everybody that did that show that night was really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a really fun night. And I mean, it was, contests are one thing, but we all know like how that goes. But I think that do you plan on using your impersonations again? Because I really think you could revive that.
I'm working on stuff like I'm working on Bjork actually right now. Bjork?
No, I love her. I love her.
I heard her voice and I said, I love that. And I said, but thank you so very much for being here. It is a lovely pleasure to see you. I'm almost maybe going to be here. My voice is a little shot tonight. I've got bad allergies, but
yeah.
I want to work on Bjork. I think I'm going to put her working in the DMV.
Oh God, that would be great.
With all my other characters.
A lot of videos.
Oh, what?
You do a lot of videos. I remember seeing you do a lot of videos and I was like, oh shit, I'm like, Donna's going crazy on the videos with these impersonations.
Oh yeah. That was like my first month in COVID. I said, what? I'm losing my freaking mind. And I said, let me just do some song parodies. I have to just say they're easy, okay?
Yeah.
It's an easy laugh. I did Cher. I did, who else I do? I did Tina Turner, Amy Winehouse.
Oh, I love her too. I love her.
COVID, and Cyndi Lauper, of course.
And now I actually just met another comic who does impressions. Of voices, and now I'm inspired to do an entire show of people that do impressions and voices.
How cool would that be?
That would be awesome, and I am going to do that. That is definitely happening. It's happening. I am going to put that together because I think that there's a couple of, because I like to think outside the box when it comes to shows. Not every comic needs to get up there and just tell, joke after joke after joke after joke.
Right.
It can be somewhat, entertaining in between with different things and things that you wouldn't expect.
Right.
And especially considering the type of crowds that are out there, they know who the voices are that you're doing. Like I know exactly who Bjork is. I know exactly Cyndi Lauper,
right.
Madonna. I mean, when I look at you, I definitely see the Madonna, that version of Who's That Girl.
Oh yeah.
That's the Madonna that I love. That's the Madonna I love. What
Right.
she transformed into after Vogue, that
Yeah.
was something completely and totally different. But I feel like there's definitely a home and a room for that. So I'm gonna find maybe two more impressionist comics.
Cool.
Um, yeah, because I already have one in mind, and we'll do that.
Cool.
So
Anybody I know? Was it somebody I know or no?
no, it wouldn't be anybody that you know. I'm not sure you've ever met him, but you will.
Cool.
So, and
All
I'm
right.
sure that there's another one out there. So I will definitely be putting that together as probably my next show to do
Yeah.
because that needs to be done. People need to be entertained
Bad.
and
Bad.
badly. And I feel as if, you know, there's so many different artists out there, and I feel like a lot of people got to take a break during all of this and really work on their creative material, whether it be music or poetry or storytelling or writing or anything. I know I have,
Right.
and just being able to, come up with new stuff. Because sometimes, I mean, this wasn't all negative. A lot of us got to take a break, and thank God we stayed healthy and we stayed safe.
Thank God.
Thank God, and I hope it continues to stay that way. But when you actually take time to prioritize, and I'm hoping that people will find that creative nook and stay with it, because you need it. You need to take at least an hour or 2 hours a day. Some people think you got to sit there all day and do something,
Oh
but
God.
it does, you burn out after that.
Yeah. I don't know. I go through spurts.
Yeah,
I'm not real, but working on Zoom because
right, helps.
what's happening, we have no choice. And at
Right,
least it's getting the juices stirring and getting
it does, and it inspires you to come up with things. Like, even as I'm sitting there and I'm listening to somebody else, I'm like, oh, that's, not what they're saying, but oh, I just got a good joke and I'll write it down, or just, and just keep going from that.
Well, you're a great improviser. You're good on your feet.
On my feet,
That-
yeah.
That's a gift, Kristen, because a lot of people, they
Yeah.
stick to their material. It's
No.
their jokes. You can fly.
Bye.
I've seen you do it. And
That got me through the first year of comedy, and now I'm like, all right, you really need to come up with something, because sometimes, you can't come up with stuff. I need to fix myself. Sometimes you can't come up with stuff on the fly all the time. But
right.
I definitely feed off the energy of the crowd.
Yeah.
So
That's what I miss.
yeah, you
Well,
can get that on Zoom, but it's not the same as walking on the stage and hearing the music and seeing the lights and stuff like that. That's something that you really just can't get.
yeah.
So when I do Zoom shows, I actually might put music on while the crowd is waiting for us to get together and all that stuff. I might switch to that because it's fun, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's part of it. So what's your favorite stage that you've performed on?
My favorite stage was UConn College.
Really?
I did colleges back in the day, which were fantastic. It was the first time, this is something I learned there. It was 5,000 kids in an amphitheater, all college kids. And it was a 3-man show. I was a middle act.
Right.
Never been a headliner yet, but I was a good middle act. And it was overwhelming, 5,000 people. You look out there. And what I discovered was that the bigger the crowd, the slower you have to actually go, because the laughter works its way to the back of the theater.
Wow.
It's really a phenomenon. It's bizarre. But it was like all of a sudden, I went from like a level 5 to a 10 in excitement and in energy and in how the show went. It was like, wow, this was awesome. So that was probably my best. You want to hear my worst?
Absolutely. That's actually one of the questions too. Like, have you ever seen anybody bomb, or have you ever bombed on stage, like really bad?
Of course I've bombed. Everybody, if you haven't bombed, you haven't done stand-up. Come on.
That's true, yeah.
But I did one of my last performances. My daughter was 2 years old. This was in 95. My daughter was 2, and I was in Florida, and I got booked on like the senior circuit. And I opened for Donald O'Connor, the guy from Singing in the Rain.
Okay.
I did 2 shows, people in the audience literally had oxygen on and
No.
the works. I mean,
No.
and people going, what did she say?
Oh God. No.
So that was pretty horrifying. And then one other time, and this is a tip for any comic out there, when you start doing bigger gigs, when they tell you do 30 minutes, don't do 31. I had an orchestra start playing as I'm telling a fucking joke on stage. I turned around, I said, my time was up. And they were like, they didn't give a shit. They
Oh
went
my
right
God.
in. Yeah. I was like, okay.
That's crazy. I mean, as a woman in comedy, and this is a question that I don't get to ask a lot of people, as a woman in comedy, how do you feel? How do you feel being a woman in comedy? There's so many different questions and ways I can ask that question, but what has been your experience being a woman in comedy?
Being a woman in comedy for me, maybe not so much anymore because I'm only back a year.
Right.
But when I was performing, I always felt that they would book a 3-man show, but it would be usually 2 men and a woman, or a ventriloquist, or an impersonator. Like a woman was tagged as a specialty, but not in the good sense. Do you know what I mean? It was like, okay, we'll have two guys and
this chick over here.
And her. Yeah.
Her. Yeah. And then it's kind of like, you kind of get treated like a woman.
Right.
Because it's kind of like, oh, you're here too. And then they kind of go off and then they talk about doing other shows together and you're just kind of like an afterthought.
Right. Well,
I don't know why that is though. I still haven't figured it out.
And I think, the word is that women aren't funny. Fuck you. Yes, women are funny. Men are
very funny.
You know what it is? Men are intimidated by a funny woman.
Because that's the only thing. I actually have a joke about that I did. I submitted it to the Children's Brain Tumor Foundation in the video when I did that. And it was about a guy taking me on a date. And he asked me what I wanted to do for fun. And I'm like, well, I am the fun. I'm a stand-up comic. And he just what do you mean you're funny? And goes into convulsions about being funny. Because even when I'm single, so even when I tell guys on dating sites, I always say you have to love stand-up comedy because it's a big part of my life. Yes, I will go out every single night. Weekends, most of the time, are dedicated to shows. If I'm not doing one of my shows, I might go to someone else's shows. You have to really want to be a part of that world. But it's a business part of the world. It's an entertainment part of the world. This is fun for me. This is what I do.
Right.
And a lot of them are like, well, oh, you're so funny. Tell me a joke. And it's like, no, I'm not going to tell you a joke. You're like, come on. I'm not going to just sit there and just tell you a knock joke. You want me to launch into my whole set so you can sit there and judge me. So I just, I usually try to lure them in and then spring it on them that I'm funny.
Yeah.
But it breaks the tension. I think it's good to have a funny girlfriend. I think it's good to have someone that at least with a sense of humor.
Absolutely. But I just think a lot of men are intimidated by it. And I'm on the dating sites too. And I hesitate to tell guys because when I do, then they think they're funny. And half the time they're not. And they're trying desperately to be funny for you. It's it's not working.
You don't need to audition for me. You know, the real test will be when you pull your pants down. So let's just keep it at that. The real test will be when you pull your pants down. Then we'll see who's funny. Yeah. So, but actually I found that it's actually a great way to meet guys. And this is a little narcissistic, but it's a great way to get them to come to your show. If you really want to meet me, buy a ticket to my show and, we'll see you. And then hopefully that's when the male comics come into play. Because it's that guy's bothering me.
Good idea.
Yeah. So it's definitely a good idea to, but, I don't know. I think that there's plenty of successful women in comedy, but unfortunately a lot of them are single. So, but whatever.
Well, dating sucks. Let's face it. It
does suck. It really does.
Like you, I have cats, I have dogs, I have pets. I love my pets. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't been on a date. I finally relaxed and said, all right, I'm gonna have a guy take me out. The guy knocked on the door. I invited him in. He wiped his feet. And I found myself saying, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Because I'm only around the animals, you know?
Oh my God, no, that's a good bit. Save that one. Keep that in
Yeah.
your pocket.
Well,
That's a
I
great
did.
bit.
I made him
Expand
beg
on
for his
that.
dinner. I made him beg for his dinner.
Oh yeah.
He got down on all fours. I swear to God. I got out the collar and the leash.
And then you let him sleep on your bed, right? Or under your bed?
No, we in bed, but all he did was hump my leg all night.
Oh God.
Woof, woof.
That's a great one. So
Yeah, that's a new one.
So what comedic influences did you have that got you to the comedy stage?
My very, very first was in 6th grade, was Lily Tomlin. I don't know if you remember Lily Tomlin.
Of course I know Lily Tomlin.
Well, she used to do the good afternoon. This is Miss Tomlin of the phone company. How may I help you? One ringy dingy. And I did her for the talent show in school. And that was like probably where I got my first applause. And it was laughter. And it was like, oh. And I looked up to her. I saw her one woman show, Signs of Intelligent Life. And, but really my influences for stand-up really are Richard Pryor, hands down. And people like Sam Kinison. I don't know if you know Sam.
I know Sam Kinison, yeah.
One of my favorite jokes is a Sam Kinison joke about being in, I think at the time, Africa had like nations that was Biafra or whatever. And he said, why are we sending them money? I mean, why are we sending them food? Don't send them food, send them luggage, move. And I just thought that was the funniest joke I've ever heard.
Well, it's true. I mean, like, why are you still there? Like, do you not realize like that there's internet, like to get the hell out of those little huts that you're living in over there?
Yeah,
I mean,
move on, baby.
Right, like, come on, like, what are you doing? Like, our culture, like, wake up.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm sure, a lot of them have tried. You see them on Facebook, when they try to hit you up and, try to get you, to marry them and bring them over to the United States.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, that's always great. I mean, I hesitate putting single on my, like, taking single off of my profile because I get that on a daily basis.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh,
wow.
It'll be like a weird name, or like they come from like different countries, but they'll put like pictures of American guys on their profile, and I'm like, that's not what you look like, Brad. Like, and and Brad wouldn't talk the way you're talking, so.
Right.
They just try to get you for every little thing that you can, but it's unfortunate. But I've met some cool people, from different countries that are just looking to talk, and they just happen to like something that I post or something.
Oh,
so,
cool. Well, that's
cool.
It's
always good to branch out a little bit.
You just have to weed out the bad ones,
Yeah, weed out the ones that are trying to get you to send the money, because definitely fun than that.
I sell gemstones in Africa and I'm stuck. Can you send me $5,000?
$5,000? Yeah, and some people actually fall for that. Some people actually,
especially.
I mean, I would hate to think it actually happened, but
it does. Yeah, it's sad.
So, if there was a movie made about your life, who would play you?
Who would play me? Ellen Barkin.
Okay, I know who Ellen Barkin is.
Yeah. Ellen Barkin.
My cat is here.
Tell me I look like her. I don't see it. She's got
a little bit, but
real schnozzoli.
Yeah. What would be a highlight of your life that would be like the turning point in the movie where it's like, oh shit, like here we go. The adventure.
What would be the turning point? Probably my divorce. Yeah.
That was like
for 13 years I was married to an Englishman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough.
Well,
nothing funny there, Kristen. Nothing funny there.
Nothing funny about that. I'll tell you that much. But
just the turning point.
Yeah, that would be the turning point that would launch you into something. The other part of your life.
Right.
Do you still talk to your ex-husband or no?
We're actually buddies. Did you see the picture I posted on Facebook of?
Yes.
Did you see the picture of the news article from the Times?
Yes.
That Pee Wee Herman look-alike? That was
That's
my
him?
husband.
Oh my, is that how you met him?
No, I made him do Pee Wee. I made him do it. I said, you can make a lot of money doing Pee Wee. And he did.
Wow.
Yeah. No, he and I met on stage at Chicago City Limits,
Uh-huh.
improv group back in the 80s.
Wow. So you've been really doing this. Do you think that the both of you working in the entertainment field has something to do with your divorce?
Very much so.
It did. Why?
Yeah, I think so. I think because I had a bit more success than he did, really.
Yeah.
And I also traveled way too much. So I wasn't home. And that kind
And he
of,
couldn't go with you.
he came to Aruba twice when I was there. But yeah, it's a tough life.
It
But
is.
you know what? I want a funny guy. I really want to date a funny guy.
Yeah.
I don't like men that don't have, you got to have a sense of humor or I'm not in. And there's so few and far between that it's like, it looks like
Yeah.
I'm wind up alone with my kitties.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I feel like, I mean, at my age, I'm looking at guys that have never been married, and I'm also looking at guys that have been married before and now they're divorced. So
Right.
they kind of have that bitterness about marriage as it is.
Oh yeah, and baggage.
For me, yeah, a lot of baggage, or they have children, they have something. But for me, it's, I could go for a guy who's 20 years younger than me.
Wow.
Ugh, well, that would be too young. I don't want to date a 20-year-old.
I love younger men. You know why?
I do think about a younger man because, the 28, 29 age range, or even 30 at this point, because I feel like they have more of a zest for life. Maybe they haven't gotten married yet, and they're going to look to settle down, because guys that are close to my age, especially when they know my age, are like, well, you're definitely going to be looking to get married. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm not looking to get married. Maybe I'm just looking to live my life.
Yeah.
I have goals and I have dreams that I'm trying to accomplish. I'm definitely not the settle down type of, I'm going to be happy being the little wife in the kitchen making dinner.
Right.
Just thought of that. I'm like, I'll make sure you eat. Now the house will be clean and you'll definitely be taken care of in the bedroom, but I got to do what I got to do.
Right.
So if I can find a guy that respects that, then I'll be happy. So, and it would be the same for you. But I think that you're going to find a guy that's retired, and he's going to be willing to just, I see him coming.
That's fine by me. Please.
He's going to be there, and it's not going to be, actually, I think you actually might meet him through a friend. You know Bonnie, right?
Who?
You know Bonnie Scalisi, right?
Bonnie Scalisi. Yeah.
Ask Bonnie if Michael has any friends.
I think I already did ask. I ask everybody. Don't you have any friends? I mean, that's usually the best way to meet somebody.
It is the best way to meet somebody, if you can find a friend that that has somebody. I mean, I've had a couple people say to me, "Oh, hey, I have a friend that I'm, he's 50," and I'm like, "No."
Oh, I'll take him.
All right, I'll let you know. Definitely. If I find anybody, I'll let you know. I'll be like, "Hey, I got somebody for you," because I'm definitely a good sense of character when it comes to that. I can just look at a person and be like, or yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. So,
right.
Was there ever a moment on stage where you were like standing there and you were like, I'm going to keep going with this. I'm not going to give up. This is my moment. I feel really good about entertaining.
Many times. Yeah.
Many times?
I can't explain it. Well, being on stage to me is the greatest high I've ever experienced. It is, and I love sex. I'm a vibrant woman. I got a lot of energy. I got a lot of life left in me, but it's better than sex.
Really?
I think so. It lasts longer.
That's true. That's definitely true.
No, you know what I mean? It's just, I love it. I have gotten on stage like back in the day, very, very sick or hungover, like say too many before. I get on stage going, oh my God, this is going to suck. Magically, whatever I was feeling is gone and I'm on a different plane.
You're on a different playing field. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so it's like a runner's high almost.
Yes, that's what it is.
You get that euphoric feeling. Yeah. I've experienced it and I love it because I'd always walk around like, oh, I'm nervous, oh, I'm gonna throw up, oh, I
Right.
can't do this. And then I get on the stage, it's just like, whoop, total change.
Yeah.
Just
You
complete
don't get
total change.
nervous, do you? I never see you looking
Oh,
nervous.
I hide it very well.
You do?
Oh boy. Yep. I definitely hide it. So
Wow.
I'm like extremely, I'm a very shy person, which a lot of people don't really would never think that. But
Kristen Tinsley is shy.
yeah,
You
yep.
know,
I can be very shy and very introverted. But one thing that I've learned about being by myself in quarantine is, I do enjoy my own company very well, but I do like to go out and socialize. And comedy was a big motivator for me to go out and, and socialize because, I was, I had weight loss surgery. You were there, around me for all that time.
right, right.
And you've seen me, go through a lot of changes. But before that, a lot of the reason why I was shy and introverted was because of the obesity. It was because
Oh,
of not being able to do the same things that everybody else was able to do. I wasn't able to move around as much. I wasn't able to, all I wanted to do was just go home and eat. I wasn't in the right frame of mind of being social. A lot of my friends were married or they had boyfriends or they were just doing whatever they were doing. And if I wasn't doing kickboxing or if I wasn't, working or doing something, I was home.
right.
So it was a very depressive state. And now that, I don't really care anymore. Now I'm can do everything. I can fit in a movie theater seat. I can get on an airplane. I could do all kinds of stuff. So now I've realized that my shyness and my introvertedness is not so much my personality because that's not who I am.
Right.
It's more along the lines of
Wow.
it was because of that. So now that my life has changed and everything has changed about me, I'll be able to go out more into the world and do things and not get so nervous or think that, comedy definitely changed it for me because people are looking when people are looking at you, when you have that perception of yourself and
Right.
people are looking at you and you're thinking, well, I always thought, well, they're looking at how fat I am. But most of the time, when you actually talk to people, they don't notice that about you. Some people
Right.
do, and some people don't. So when I get up on stage, people are looking at me like they're not looking at everything because they're concentrating on what I'm saying. Because they
Exactly.
want to know if I'm funny or not. They want to see, oh, is this girl going to be able to make a look? They're not looking at how fat I am. No one has ever come up to me and said, hey, boy, you're real fat. Like you
Yeah.
look real fat on that stage. Like no one's ever, has ever said that. So it's for once in my life, I got to experience what it was like to be something else other than just being fat.
Right.
Where it was like, oh, you're a comic, you're a comedian. And it's the one place that I felt, I didn't have to get dressed up. I didn't have to, look a certain way. I could look any way I wanted to look and just get up on the stage because it was very more important as to what was coming out of my mouth.
Right.
And that's always been the most important thing about me. It's always been my thoughts, what comes out of my mouth, what I write down and what I do. So that's always, and that's how I'm breaking out of that. And you're getting to meet a lot of people,
Well, you have made an unbelievable transformation. There's some pictures on
Yeah.
Facebook. I don't know if it was a before or an after, but it was definitely an after, and you looked amazing.
Thank you.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, and I'm still working on it. It is not easy.
Yeah.
It was easy in the beginning where a lot of changes. Hi, John Battle. Yes, introvert unite. He's my John Battle is my introverted buddy. Um, it's a transformation through a lot of things, and I don't mind doing it publicly. I'm glad that I do it publicly just because I want to be able to show people that you can change your life
Sure.
in a very short amount of time and don't wait to have something tragic happen to you like I did for you to get motivated to do that. So anyone can change their life, and it doesn't always have to be about your appearance.
Right.
It could be about a lot of other things
Sure.
that you do,
Sure.
and it's just a matter of doing that.
Right.
So, and I like doing that, but I also like to take the breaks and gather as much information as I can before I really put too much information out there, because when I work in health and nutrition sometimes, and I want to make sure that I have all the information readily available to give to people so that they understand it a little bit better
Right.
about how to take care of your body and how to love yourself. It's the same thing with comedy. You don't want to just get up on the stage and just start talking. although you could, but you kind of want to understand what you're saying and how the structure and how the game is played so that you could do as best as you possibly can.
Right.
You know, so
It's
and that's not
it's
it's a process. It does.
Right.
It takes some time. It takes some homework and some research and
right.
you know, so
I can relate to the weight thing, believe it or not. I'm a size 6 to 8 now. I was a 16 for a long time.
wow.
And it, you know, I mean, it's big, but it's not whatever. But I know that feeling. I know that, like, you know, you're being judged by your physical being, and oh my God, I went through some rough times. But
It's tough. And then even when you lose the weight, depending on, because people can still look at me as someone being very, overweight or thinking, well, you had weight loss surgery, you should be skinny by now.
no.
It doesn't work that way. I mean, some people, I look at some other girls that have gone through the same surgery that I had, or I don't know what surgery they had. If they don't tell me, I don't know. But if, losing the amount of weight that I'm capable of losing in a month, where some people can maybe lose maybe 1 to 2 pounds in a month, I lose on average maybe about 6 to 7 pounds a month.
Why?
But you have to be very careful that you're not losing that weight in muscle.
Right.
You have to make sure you're actually losing fat. And there's a lot of other different biological factors, that can prevent you from doing that. So when I look at, other people's pictures and I see how big they were, and then I see the aftermath. But even, I never was able to relate to skinny people because I always thought they had it easy. But imagine, like you were a size 16 and then you went to a size 6 to 8. But if you went up to a size 16 now, people are going to notice.
Right.
You gain 5 or 6 pounds, people notice right away. If I gain 5 or 6 pounds, oh well, you just don't notice, you don't see it.
Yeah, I did the COVID-15, the COVID-15 motherfuckers. It sucks.
You can get it off. You just have to, once
I'm working on it, but you know what it was? It was a lot of comfort food, the COVID, it was like being sequestered in your house. So
right.
Eating macaroni and cheese and fried chicken, and oh man, I made everything. I was cooking up a storm, and boom, the weight comes.
You're single, so it's there, and it's like, I can eat this whole thing. Believe me, I get it, but always remember, and this is also a good tip for comics and for people who perform. If you can help people to process emotions by the words you're saying, the more effective you'll be at speech.
Right.
If you can make people feel something, just like when you go out there and you do impersonations, people feel something because they've gone back to that time of when Madonna was popular, when Cyndi Lauper was popular, all those people, it's the same thing with food. So right away, everybody was very upset and very emotional with everything that's going on. It was very scary. And the first thing you want to do, even for somebody like me, the first thing that you want to do is, go for something that's comforting. But that's just an emotion that you're trying to process.
Exactly.
Because the food you're going for, the vulnerable foods.
Yeah.
So as long as you can get past that,
Working on it, baby. Let's get back out there.
Oh yeah, I'm out there every day. Yoga every day. I just started doing strength training and stuff like that. So I've seen a big difference in my body now. Definitely start lifting weights. It's awesome.
Are you doing yoga with Jennifer?
No, she's just starting out. I just did her class, but she'll be doing it. But yeah, we always, sometimes we'll be like, hey, it's just
I gotta
try some poses. Yeah, no, she does good, and Chris Cup too.
For her.
Yeah, she's making her way out there.
Cool.
So I got one last question before my computer just like dies on me. It's almost out of battery. What famous comic or non-famous comic would you take to bed?
Oh, Dave Chappelle, hands down.
Really?
Yes.
I can see it.
Oh yeah. He's funny and he's sexy, I think.
Yeah, he is very sexy. Look at this cat.
Look at this.
I had my cat. Yeah, they loved. Oh, I love orange tabbies. They're so cute.
Yeah, it's my boy. It's my boy. Who would you sleep with?
Everyone always asks me that. I don't think there's a comic out there that I would sleep with. But if I had to pick anyone, it would definitely be The Rock.
Oh
I know
yeah,
he's not a comic, but he does a lot of funny movies.
he
So
does.
technically he's a comic. Yeah, I would definitely sleep with The Rock. That's my man,
Really?
100%.
Oh,
100%. He's hot and sexy. I love him.
ah,
That would be it. Or maybe a smaller version of him. I don't know.
the
So
what?
maybe a smaller version. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
All right, Donna, thank you so much for being a guest on my show. I
Thank
will
you.
definitely be setting up that impersonation show. I will put my feelers out there. I will get a date and I will definitely let you know. But I will see you on the 21st at Coasters for their first
Yes,
open.
ma'am. I'll be there with bells on.
Yep. And maybe I'll try to drag Amy out this weekend if you next weekend if you want to come out to the show. You
Uh-huh.
know, that'd be cool because I know she likes to go out. You know Amy.
Amy.
Amy Zappia.
Oh, right. Amy, that's right. You know Amy. Oh shit, that would be great. Get it. Let's work it out.
Definitely. I
All
definitely
right,
will.
Mama.
Cool.
Thank
Thank
you.
you everybody so much for watching. I am your host, Kristen Tinsley, and fellow comic. You've been watching In Bed with Comics, and I will see you on Tuesday, hopefully with Richie Byrne. So good night, everybody. You stay there. Hold on a second.
Okay, Kristen. Wow, love
All right.
you.
Love you too, girl. Bye, everybody.